explosion of gold to fill the cracks. Chapter 9. Meeting the Neighbors. Summary for this chapter. The Bugman villain knows where he lives. Moving house is the least he can do to sleep soundly at night. Or, blind Blasty Boy moves in next door to small sweet girl who nearly crushed him, literally, at the sports festival. Best Jeanist was a jerk, Katsuki decided. The clunky, clicky device in his hands was worth a ridiculous amount of money. His mother was yelling at him that he'd be paying for it if he broke it, and the smell of smoke was slowly filling the room as his father tried to deal with the other packages, littering the table without setting off the two hotheads. The fancy pro hero had sent the family packages of braille books, braille stickers, and a number of things in technology Katsuki hadn't even known existed, as soon as he was informed of his former intern's disability. All of that now covered the table, separate from the rest of the moving boxes. Yep, Best Jeanist was a jerk. He didn't even know how Best Jeanist had managed to find out. Izuku, Aizawa, and Principal Nedzu were the top suspects in that regard, but he strongly suspected one of the teachers because the packages were sent to UA, and then the school forwarded them to the new Bakugo residence. In which case, whoever was doing this at UA was also a jerk. Katsuki had all but forced his parents to find somewhere to move as soon as he came home from the hospital. As soon as he was in that house, he hadn't been able to get it out of his head that the villain had watched his commute so many times to know exactly where he lived. Izuku lived just a few streets away in an apartment near the neighborhood, but the green static nerd took a different path home. Katsuki's commute being compromised didn't mean Izuku's was. It had taken some adjusting, moving into a new place, especially with Katsuki still getting used to finding his way around. An apartment, much smaller than home, but it was what they'd been able to get on short notice. Walls were his best friend, he was finding. Stairs? Not so much. It had been a loud affair, the moment he realized he could use his blasts to right himself after a misplaced step. The white cane had been Aizawa's gift, created to be sturdy enough to hold up in battle as a makeshift weapon if needed. So when he realized Best Jeanist also sent a white cane, in his new closet that went. The packages were a bit much, honestly. Katsuki must have spent a whole day learning the new apartment. It had been worth it a day later when he could get around without the cane. The packages? His father snatched the braille device out of his hands seconds before firecrackers fried the thing. The packages were loads of help, and there lied the problem. Katsuki didn't like help. My phone has text-to-speech. What do I need to learn braille for? Katsuki shouted in anger, earning himself a slap on the side of the head. You're being too loud. What will the neighbors think of us, huh? Katsuki screamed in response, which sounded more like some kind of dying animal up until his voice gave out. You're a speed reader, aren't you? Put that big brain to use and learn to read again. Katsuki's mouth stayed open in a voiceless, silent scream of aggravation. Mitsuki, his father gently approached. Maybe we should have this conversation later. Look, Best Jeanist sent Katsuki new clothes. Katsuki's eyebrow twitched. Still making the motions of mock screaming, he turned and walked out of the room, holding out a hand in front of him to lead the way. His parents still squabbling in the kitchen, he went out the front door. He didn't have to go anywhere far, warm August air feeling less stuffy than inside with his parents, and he made his way down the steps. At the bottom, he leaned against the railing, closing his eyes, bright sunlight making everything seem tinted blue. Kachan? Is that you, Kachan? That was not Izuku's voice. Somehow, the name had spread to a few of their classmates from Izuku's repeated use of it. His sole saving grace was that it was only a few. Katsuki turned around, and his back hit against the railing as someone smelling like cherry blossoms tackled him in a hug. Her soft hair brushed his chin. It is you, Kachan! Ochako exclaimed, and he turned his head away from the unasked-for physical affection she was enveloping him in. I wanted to see you in the hospital, but they said you weren't taking visitors. I'm so glad you're okay. She finally released him, bouncing a step back, her steps light. That scar looks so cool on you, too. What are you doing here around my apartment complex? Katsuki touched the scar on the side of his face, so close to his eye, a leftover from healing the damage done by his quirk. There was apparently a larger scar spanning over his eyes, according to the doctors, but all he felt there was soft, sensitive skin. He tended to forget all about all of it, and although Recover-Go made it seem as if it had healed on its own long ago, it was a mark etched onto his face. Kachan? Cherry blossoms. Perfume? Maybe her shampoo? You are okay, right? Katsuki looked at her, trying to make the faint, fuzzy splotches in his vision make sense. He had to face his classmates sometime, not just Izuku and Aizawa. His mouth opened, but he had worn out his voice by screaming at his mom. Oh. Oh. She'd noticed his eyes. Did she notice him? As a classmate? As a potential hero? As a person? Do you want to come inside? My parents are at work, so we could have a snack while I tell you about what's been going on since the finals. Katsuki hesitated, then nodded. She took his hand. It's just up these steps, she explained as she led the way. My apartment is door 23, right over there. There are metal plaques on all the doors. Katsuki heard her fish for keys, and he felt for the plaque on the door. So his apartment had a number plaque on it too, he reflected as his fingers traced the cold metal numbers. He'd just come to know it as the first door near the stairs over the past few days. He followed her inside after she unlocked the door, his ears picking up what his eyes could no longer. Click of a light switch. Keys dropped on a nearby surface. Ochako kept talking, so he followed her voice. Can you close the door behind you? Come in, we can sit at the table. It's right over here. Katsuki grimaced as a crash came muffled through the wall, followed by what was unmistakably his mother's muffled cursing. Ochako laughed nervously. Sorry about them. We just got new neighbors just in the past 2 weeks, and they're pretty loud. Just ignore them. So Katsuki had just moved in next door to one of his classmates. This was like the beginning of a cliché romance manga. Lame. What's that look for? I think I heard they have a son around our age, but with the training camp coming up, there's no time to get to know him. Who knows, maybe he's cute. I just hope they quiet down once they all finish moving in, she sighed. Knowing his family, that wasn't going to happen. Katsuki was really starting to get annoyed at his dead voice. He waited at the table while Ochako rummaged through her kitchen. He didn't have to wait long for her to put down some tableware, the ceramic dishes tapping on the bare table. Water and pretzels, Ochako brightly proclaimed, joining him at the table. So, I don't know if you've already guessed, but the training camp was postponed. It's in about a week and, okay, did you want some more water? He felt the table jolt when she jumped at his voice. Damn it, my throat keeps fucking dying, he complained, slamming the cup back down on the table. He searched the table for her cup, and she passed it to him without prompt. Oh my god, Kachan! Ochako's voice was a stumbling hurry. I thought you were blind and mute for a minute there. Don't get ahead of yourself there. He jerked a thumb in the direction of the neighboring apartment, from where a few thumps could still be heard. What was his mom even doing? I just moved in next door. Ochako loudly whined. And you let me say all that to you? Katsuki couldn't help a snort. Just don't call me cute again and we're good. Why? Ochako whined. She slumped against the table, and Katsuki got the feeling she was staring at him. Your family's still loud. Blame it on my mom. I'm blaming you. Before he could argue, she asked, Did anyone tell you about the incident at the mall? No, everyone's trying to keep me from hearing about hero stuff. Shit about how I should focus on recovering. Ochako munched on pretzels. The day after that last class, we met up at the mall, she started. We didn't know you were missing yet. Well, we split up to do our shopping. I was with Deku at first, but kind of ran off without him for reasons. When I came back, a weird man in a black hoodie had his hand around Deku's neck. She trailed off. Katsuki waited patiently for her to continue, nursing his second cup of water. Ochako took a deep breath. Deku, he handled it. Talking to him, I mean. We reported it as soon as he got away from Deku, but they were unable to find him. It was one of the guys from the USJ incident. It really freaked us out. A chair squeaked over the floor. Katsuki closed his eyes and sighed, trying to exhale the tension. Just a chair. Not a big gold door swinging in to announce the arrival of... We found out about your disappearance after that, Ochako said from the kitchen. Water ran from a tap for a few seconds. Deku heard about it first. His mom knows your mom, so that's how we found out. He told us, and we all pestered Aizawa to give us details. The teachers were really tight-lipped about it. I can guess why all the secrecy, Katsuki growled. They thought the cases were related. The villain who grabbed me mentioned that the League of Villains was sneaking around, but he's a B-list extra. He was working on his own. Talking about the damn bug made his mouth taste like salt. He stayed away from the pretzels. It was easy to pretend they didn't exist. The teachers also didn't want it to get out to the media that a Hero Corps student was kidnapped. Ochako returned to the table. Deku thought they might be connected too, but he couldn't figure out why they'd want you. You were the sports festival winner, though. Ugh, don't remind me. So that makes for a lot of villains who would want to kidnap you for any number of reasons. Don't, Katsuki warned, aiming a glare in her direction. Don't start on that. Okay, sorry, it's just that, well, she sighed. We had a lot of time to think about what happened. All the messages when Deku found you were in the class group chat, you know the one, and I kind of freaked. It felt like the Hosu incident all over again. Yeah, I unmuted the group chat and read it. Usually you guys are pretty stupid with it, but damn, all of you are depressing as shit. And seriously, we need to get better names for these things. USJ incident, Hosu incident, Mall incident, The nerd didn't mention I was blind in there. Did he or Aizawa tell anyone in person? A pause. No, she hurriedly said. Did she just shake her head and then try to cover for it? That was all kept private. Deku called me yesterday to say he sparred with you, so I didn't think... Katsuki grinned. Perfect change of subject. Want to spar? He asked. See what the blonde guy can do. I've got permission to use the UA training rooms until camp rolls around. Is it letting you go to camp? Obviously. Katsuki stood up and heard Ochako do the same. He waved a hand in front of his face. This? I need to get good at fighting like this. There's a gym that's closer, Ochako said. He could hear the battle-ready grin in her voice. We'll go there. No quirks. You know fun, he said, but he couldn't stop grinning. Bottom of the stairs in 10. I gotta get my cane. You seriously have a cane? Blind. He pointed at his eyes. I keep tripping on the damn uneven sidewalk. Ochako wheezed, then yelped when she hit her knee on the table as she went down laughing. Don't laugh at me. Fuck you. End of Chapter 9.